Auburn lost this weekend, which means we can't talk about an actual victory. So today, on this Monday, we're going to talk about some moral victories. So I have 5 moral victories I want to talk about with you from the Auburn game. And the first one has to do with Robbie Ashford. Robbie Ashford really showed up in this game, and it was the perfect time on his birthday. He really had the game of his life so far. And he really showed that he can be the starting quarterback for Auburn. While he was not perfect, he threw for over 300 yards in this game. 300 yards passing, over. And, he still had opportunities to use his legs. He was evasive. He was not perfect, and yes, he bailed early a few times. But overall, I was just really impressed with how Robbie played. And it showed that we do have a starting quarterback in Robbie Ashford. Next up, I want to talk about our O-line. Our offensive line was not perfect, but to me, they looked better, at least with the eye test. They looked better than the O-line has looked almost the entire season. It seems like we got more push off the line. We didn't get a lot. I'm not going to exaggerate and say we got a lot of push off the line. But it seems like moving Brandon Council to center was the move we should have made at the beginning of the season, and it just didn't happen. It's a shame it had to happen out of necessity from injuries. But ultimately, it seems like our offensive line is in a much better place than we've seen this season so far. The next little moral victory I want to talk about is our receiving game. One thing we did not have before the LSU was a touchdown reception or a receiving touchdown by a wide receiver. We had 2 in this game. I believe Javarius Johnson and Camden Brown both had receiving touchdowns. And before the LSU game, we had 0 receiving touchdowns by a wide receiver. So that's a little bright spot we had in this loss versus LSU. The next up, I'm going to go with our defense. Our defense overall was pretty solid. They weren't perfect, gave up 21 points, but I felt like they did what they needed to do to win. They held up their end. They only gave up 21 points. Our defensive line looked pretty great for most of the night. I think that LSU had, what was it, like 5 yards, 6 yards receiving in the second half. It was really low. But for the most part, the defense did their job across the board. Unfortunately, our offense did not do enough in the second half, 0 points. They did not do enough in the second half to really, help our defense out at all. But our defense really, I felt like they did enough to help the offense win the game. That's how I feel about it. And then my final little moral victory in this situation, because I'm trying to look for the silver linings in this particular video, because I definitely do not in the post-game videos. So this is the little bright spot in this moral victory Monday. I never felt like we were out of the game versus LSU. We only trailed by 4 points, which means we never were out up until it became inevitable. Once LSU had the ball and they had enough time, I say time, once they could run out the clock and we had no timeouts left, yes, it was inevitable we were going to lose. But up until that point, we were never truly out of this game. So that's a little victory, because with the Penn State game, we were definitely out. We were definitely too far behind that there was no coming back, and that did not happen versus LSU. So this is a little sunshine pumping I wanted to do on this Monday and look at some of the positives that happened in this game, because while it was not perfect, it did provide some interesting takes or some interesting moments throughout the whole game. I enjoyed watching the game up until we lost, and I did see some improvements in this game. Unfortunately, it was not enough to seal the deal and get the victory for the Tigers, the Auburn Tigers, I stuttered there because LSU is also the Tigers. But we did see some improvements. Now, was this enough to stave off the inevitable? We'll see. But that's not for this video, because this video is all about the sunshine pumping. So if there's something I missed and you thought there was another moral victory, something that went great in this game for Auburn versus LSU, please let me know down in the comments. And as always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.